Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. Well, here we have it. Bitcoin consolidating at a high. In obviously a macro bullish trend, in obviously a medium-term bullish trend, in pretty much a short-term bullish trend. Testing these highs, obviously big catalyst day tomorrow also. So yeah, we are all waiting basically for the, well, I would say waiting for the breakout, but it obviously isn't certain, but it is looking likely. It is just a matter of time before we take out this 62k level on a 4-hour closing basis, and then fully and formally start to make our way deep into the 60Ks. So that's kind of how I'm seeing the market now. There is obviously a bit of indecision. Well, there's not necessarily indecision, because obviously we're holding at these very high levels. But there's a reluctance for people just to FOMO in and start buying us up deep into the 60Ks. I guess people are wanting to see how tomorrow plays out before they make a big move, and obviously how tomorrow plays out will likely be what either triggers this big move to the upside, onwards and upwards, or a move to the upside and then a rejection, and then some downside, or even maybe some downside and then a rejection from the downside to pump us back up, or some downsides. So literally I've covered every option there, so absolutely useless information there, but this is kind of what I'm saying. The market is waiting to see what happens, see how actually Finance 1.0 reacts to the Coinbase listing, what they decide to do with it, and then our good old Finance 2.0, the future. We can then decide, well, the market participants within our ecosystem can decide how they're going to digest that information, and decide how they're then going to trade Bitcoin based on it. So yeah, we are looking pretty much like in a holding pattern here. I mean, I would be looking for fake outs realistically, either to the upside or to the downside. Especially if they happen today to potentially be just fake outs, and also even tomorrow when we do start to get some actual Coinbase action, we can then also still be looking for fake outs before we actually then settle in with a proper directional move. But yeah, I mean, this is why we use 4-hour candles, so we don't sort of get sucked into fake out moves basically. So yeah, Bitcoin in a holding pattern, but clearly looking very good, consolidating at all-time highs for such a prolonged period of time, is never bearish. This is not how tops of bull runs are put in. They are not put in like this. I mean, we can go and we'll have a little look back over to 20 well, actually the 2017 2018 top in Bitcoin. You can kind of see, look, this is how tops are put in, not like this. So yeah, we are very likely, I would say, looking at more upside in Bitcoin, the bull run resuming, even if we do trade sideways, test some downside, whatever we do, this would be highly unlikely to be the top of Bitcoin. Obviously immediate price action doesn't mean we have to go up, but even in the immediate term, it is looking like that is a likely scenario. So could the master whale market manipulators be painting the charts? I mean, they could be, but I seriously doubt that. I seriously doubt that at this sort of interest and price point in Bitcoin. So let's have a look at Ethereum, Bitcoin, still trading within our zone here as well. I mean, in all fairness, I actually perceive this as quite good, because, like I've just said, Bitcoin is clearly threatening to break up. at which case you could have seen a rotation out of altcoins, a rotation out of Ethereum and other altcoins, and already be coming down, which we haven't seen. No doubt if we do get a big spike up in Bitcoin, the Satoshi pairings will come down and Bitcoin dominance will go up. But there's been no there's been no real sell-off in it against Bitcoin in anticipation of a move that is looking very likely. So that is obviously good, because yeah, like I said, if we do spike up in Bitcoin, I would expect these to get hit in the Satoshi pairings, but you would also expect that move on its likelihood looking nature to be front run with altcoins, and which isn't. So that is just a sign of strength for altcoins. But like I said, no doubt they will get hit against Bitcoin when Bitcoin potentially does make this move to the upside. DXY as well, doing its best. DXY is doing its best to basically try and resume this medium-term uptrend. But we shall have to see. Basically, we'll have to monitor this basically to see how it goes. I pretty much think trading below this level is certainly going to trigger downside, and the next leg down in this overall move down. But I mean, you can kind of see we've got sort of a trend line coming in here, but I would realistically be looking more for this horizontal here to trigger some proper upside back probably into the 93s and probably beyond if that happens. But like I said, not necessarily seeing that as a likely scenario, but that's just crystal ball stuff. That's just my opinion. We'll just quick look at Bitcoin dominance. You can see it still looking pretty weak, obviously having a little bit of a hold up down here, but I mean, this is clearly a bearish looking chart. Stock market's obviously looking good. Stock market is looking good here. Obviously moves don't go up in a straight line, so I mean, are we looking at a tapping of this level before coming down? Obviously we've got a bit of weakness off this 4 out of 9, but yeah, we'll have to see how this is looking. But yeah, I mean, at some point this is going to have a bit of a pullback. And well, realistically, it could very easily come as deep as pretty much somewhere. I mean, to be honest, this should really be a zone of obviously here. We could obviously be getting a pullback to somewhere around here at some point. But obviously, from what level that potentially comes in at, who knows? We'll just see if I can draw the rectangle in as well, just real quick. But yeah, this is obviously major support level for this asset. So yes, maybe we'll get a pullback to here at some point. But at present, we are looking. At present, obviously the trend is your friend. So onwards and upwards until we lose that upward trend. There we go. So lock that in. What else do we look at? Yeah, 10-year starting to creep its way back up, but clearly below these highs. So obviously we are looking, well, not obviously, but we are looking at some point this still consolidating within this range. But obviously if we start to take out of these highs, I mean, then we will, we'll be looking at potentially a move up to nearly the 2%, which I think that is basically panic stations for the Fed. But yeah, we could still just be looking at basically a lower high relative to this high, potentially within this move, and then looking to take out this low and then coming back down to test the 1.4. But yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. Again, I mean, this is trending sideways again, as lots of things are at the moment. So, well, not lots of things, but some things are in obviously crypto. But yeah, I mean, realistically, we are just waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a real big thing for the overall, just to gauge the overall acceptance of crypto, the overall acceptance of basically Finance 2.0, by Finance 1.0. If they do start, I do know a lot of people that have basically don't trade crypto. but they like all those crazy stops, like well, they do buy MicroStrategy and also Tesla, but not necessarily Tesla for Bitcoin, Tesla because they're just those sorts of those sorts of guys. But yeah, they are basically wanting to buy Coinbase, and yeah, just basically for sort of crypto exposure, because they don't want to be buying Bitcoin. Basically, they just don't want to just make that psychological leap into buying Bitcoin for some reason. But yeah, so there are a lot of people that are looking at that as a way of reflecting an economic interest in crypto. So yeah, obviously we should look out for that as potentially a bullish sign for Coinbase. So yeah, stochastics. We'll have a look, but obviously we are pretty much trading sideways and waiting. As you can see, yeah, you can see that reflected in the 4-hour. It's pretty much not really knowing what to do here. Obviously high time frames maybe giving us a bit more of a directional indicator. I mean, yeah, 10-hour means similarly 10-hour, not really knowing a lot of what to do here in this sideways pattern. 12-hour looking to basically turn back over. Daily turning back up, but yeah, that's not looking too bad. Daily's the one we were looking to turn back up, and then 2-day looking good. And obviously these are going to be looking good, these high time frames, because I mean, you can just see by price action we're consolidating at highs. So yes, we are looking for a break. Obviously statistically this break is clearly more likely to go to the upside. As to whether that means it goes to the upside remains to be seen, but this is clearly looking bullish by lots of metrics. But obviously we could have a buy the rumor sell the fact impact with a Coinbase listing, maybe even some of the Bitcoin speculators from Finance 1.0 that actually did make the leap into Bitcoin. Maybe they will then look to sell Bitcoin and then just pile it into pile those funds into Coinbase. Yeah, maybe it's weird saying Coinbase, because then kind of like I think it's like when you say, oh, they've got their money in Coinbase, it's like they've got their money in Coinbase buying cryptos, but no, meaning in the actual new company. But yeah, maybe that there are lots of dynamic variables that we just have to wait to see how they play out, basically. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. Thank you for listening. Another day of potential holding patterns, maybe some wicks before the big catalyst tomorrow, for basically overall sentiment, a sentiment gauge in crypto as a whole. Because don't forget, I mean, we fair enough, we do have those companies that basically buy Bitcoin, but that is not the same as what Coinbase does. Coinbase is one of the pickaxe and shovels companies rather than actually the actual gold company. So that's so far as obviously Coinbase is not the actual company that has the Bitcoin so much. It's more the one that basically is like the infrastructure for that the purchase of it, and basically that whole side of things. So yeah, there we go, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. As you can probably tell, like I don't have much of an idea of necessarily what is actually going to happen. Just obviously with the fundamentals, there's a lot of uncertainty. Basically, it's just very uncertain. I mean, the chart is clearly looking bullish, and there is obviously that adage, you show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. And obviously with the charts looking bullish, that would then indicate the news is going to be bullish. You show me the charts, they're bullish, the news is going to be bullish. I can't remember which investor said that, but a very successful, smart one did. But yeah, so yeah, potentially it's going to play out well, and we are going to get this break up into the 60Ks, blow out this range a bit, and then yeah, find our next high and then trade some sideways, potentially with a new basing point of $62,000 per individual one Bitcoin. As crazy as that actually sounds, fully getting one Bitcoin is fully getting unobtainable for most people. We are getting into the realms of wild wild Bitcoin prices. So yeah, thank you for listening, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always DYOR, and I shall speak to you guys soon.